Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you a little stamp masking. Let's get started. So to kick things off, I have a piece of acetate that's roughly about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I've drawn a line down probably about 1.5 inch mark there, and that's going to be my baseline for where I want to line up all of my people here. So I've gone ahead and inked those up with some ink on 3 blackout ink. And the set that I am using is Santa's Village, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So all I've done here is stamped out my images, layered them over with a mask, stamped out my images. Now that tree on the right hand side is going to bother me. I should have put that down first before I put the house, but there was no going back now. So here I've got some tumbled glass, and I'm going to go over pretty heavy-handedly here because I want the sky to be of this blue color. And the stencil that I'm using is Heffy Doodle's first snow stencil. I did find a seller in Canada that does have it, and that'll be linked in the description box below as well. And once I'm done that, I will remove, and then we are going to get into a little bit of Copic coloring. And while I'm coloring, I should tell you about this stamp set that I have here. You see, last year, Jordy from Jordy's Cards was kind enough to send me this stamp set, and I thought it was just the cutest, and I'm only now getting a chance to use it. I know I'm terrible, but I figured this would be fitting to use considering this will be my last winter card for the season until Christmas in July. And my next video will be spring themed, so I'm hoping to leave the Christmas cards and the winter cards behind. As you can see there, sorry, my G marker kind of ran out, so I had to improvise here. I don't know that I will be replacing my Copics as they go. I do have a bunch of Ohuhu markers that I'm eventually going to get into, but it's going to be a whole new set of markers to learn, so I'm kind of biding my time. I'm letting my Copics run out before I full-fledged into my Ohuhus. So once I've got that green down, we're going to move into some browns here, and I will probably tell you a little bit about Heffy Doodle. Now, I just came across them, I think it was last year, and they were on my radar, and I thought some of their stuff was pretty cute. And then I was cleaning out my stamp set, and I have those little zipper pouches where I keep certain companies in. Now, I don't have very many Heffy Doodle products right now. I say right now. So, I'm hoping to get a couple more. I know they'll probably, well, I'm hoping they'll have another release come out soon, and I'm kind of excited to see what they have there. And from what I understand, they are a UK company run by one girl or one woman. I think, I mean, I know she's got some help and stuff like that, but the more I learn about this company, the more I'm kind of excited about it because, stamp companies like this are just small mom and pop kind of shops, and I really like supporting those types of companies because I've worked for a small mom and pop shop for a very long time, and I like supporting the little guy. So when I was able to sort through the few things that I had a Heffy Doodle, I was just like, oh my gosh. So then I ended up getting a couple more, and here we are today. And I do actually have the dies for this set, but they, at the current time, are en route to my house. I ended up finding them on the Heffy Doodle website, and I had emailed Leslie at Heffy Doodle and asked about them because we don't really have very many stores at all in Canada that actually sell Heffy Doodle. I know Scrap and Stamp sells Heffy Doodle, but that's about it, and I think maybe Ecstasy Crafts sells them as well. And other than that, it's like, one thing here or there, which is very unfortunate because they've got a lot of really cute stuff. Like, even their background dies are pretty neat. Like, there's one in particular with a paw print that I really, really, really want, but it's kind of like I've got to bide myself some time here before I start collecting some more things. I know I've got to kind of minimize some of my stash with some of the collection that I have that I'm not going to be using, or that I haven't used, or I'm not interested in using, but it's so hard to get rid of anything because it's like one day I might, You know that feeling? You can't let it go because one day you might use it, you know? It's like why we save our scrap pieces of paper. It's like that's too small to do anything. But yeah, I might need it for a little tiny die. Yeah. I can be terrible about that, but yeah, I have the dies coming for this set from Heffy Doodle. They should be here next week sometime, so maybe you'll see me pull out this stamp set again for Christmas in July, which I have a few ideas for, but that's still a few months away. But yeah, so this is the stamps that I used. I really like their stencils. I have two stencils. The first snow one that you saw me use here, and then I had another one that I used with my cat video. I did a little cat video with this pink and purple stencil that like I used colors for. I can't think of the name of the stencil off the top of my head, but I'll leave a link in the description of that video that I'm talking about because I really like the stencil and I've got to get creeping on a Halloween idea for it that I was going to do last month, but I ran out of time and you know, the one that I actually did, I wasn't too pleased about, so I was going to recreate it, and that's on my list of things to do. So, if you don't know what Get Creeping is, I have a few other videos that Jamie from Inky and Scrappy does. Now, I should probably say this won't be my last Christmassy video because Let's Get Lizical has a hashtag series that she's doing one a month on the 25th where she does a Christmas theme. So I'm going to try and also participate in those as well because it'll build my Christmas stash because I know last year for Christmas I did a lot of holiday markets and sold a fair amount of cards. So I am hoping to, you know, build my stash like I should. That way I don't have to be overwhelmed and doing it all at once at the end of the year. So I think we're kind of in the home stretch here with the Copic coloring. Now, that tree on the right on the other side of Mrs. Claus's bakery really, really, really bothers me. And I really wish I would have put that tree in front of the bakery, but again, when you're stamp masking, you really got to plan everything out ahead of time, and I really didn't because I had a rough idea in my mind and I thought it was simple, and even when you think it's simple, it's not necessarily simple because you go through all the work of stamp masking and stamping everything out, and then you get to the final end there, and it's kind of like, oh, poop. I put that one in the wrong place. So you'll have to give me a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, there I am. I'm just going in with a light gray marker. Now I believe this is the N0, just to give a bit of a difference between the hair. And then the belt, I'm just going to go in with my T markers. This I believe is a T8 and what looks to be like a T6, and that one is dead too. So we're going to have to improvise, so I'm just going to bring back that T8 and toss that T6 in the garbage to go with the other one that's in the garbage. So we're going to bring in some C7 and C6 and we're going to go over the roof just to give it a little bit of interest. Now you could put all sorts of things on the top of these for snow, and we're going to get a little creative with some glitter in a minute here because, like I said, that tree really, really bothers me. So I'm going to attempt to fix it. And I go two ways. I know I had talked to Jamie for a minute from Making Scrappy on what should I do about this, and she had suggested a sentiment, and I'm like, well, this stamp set doesn't come with a sentiment. And I didn't really have anything that would kind of go with this within the Heffy Doodle realm. And then I remembered I had a sentiment set, which you'll see in a minute. So I'll bring that T2 in, and you know, round out that North Pole. So here's where I'm getting a little bit of creative. Now you end up seeing some of that green through it, but I'm taking my Barely Arts glue and very carefully going along some of the edges here with this glue just to add a little bit of glitter. Now I'll be using the Prisma Glitter by Fawn. This is a very fine sparkle glitter, and I thought it was kind of neat. It's been a minute. It reminds me of being a kid and adding glitter to sugar cookies or something like that. I don't know, it was kind of an interesting idea to try it this way because this isn't something I normally do with my projects, and at this point I'm thinking, man, I really hope I don't wreck this. Because that would suck. I went through all this trouble to do it, and then I mess it up with glitter and glue. So once I'm happy with that, I'm just gonna dump all of this glitter on top, and I'm not gonna be too worried about where it goes because I want this to sink into the glue. So I'll go ahead and dump the majority of that out, and I think I end up letting it sit for a minute, and then I end up dumping it back off to the, yeah, I ended up letting it sit for a minute just so it could stick to the glue. And then I'll go ahead and add a little bit more glue to the areas that were a little bit shy of being covered. And then we'll go back in with dumping some of that glue on there. So, have you done this? When's the last time you tried putting a little glue on your project with some glitter? I don't know that I've ever really done this for a project other than like, doing the embossing stuff. Yeah, I think it's been a minute since I've even, if I've even done this. So, yeah, I'd be curious. Have you tried this technique on covering your faux pas? Or just in general? I don't generally like working with glitter because I work with it at home. I don't mind embossing glitter, but it's just not something I like to use. So, once we've got that done and it's sat a while to dry, I've pulled out what I ended up finding. I ended up finding my Down the Line Sentiment stamp by Heffy Doodle, and I thought that for the most part it covered the area okay. If I had my wish, I would have gone back and put the tree in front, but it is what it is, so we're just going to use the Merry Christmas. It's one straight line that I ended up, like, selective stamping and then cutting it out with a banner die. So I stamped out the Merry and then moved it down the page and then stamped out the Christmas, and then I just used a banner die to create this, and very carefully I'm just going to have Merry Christmas on it. Now, is this my preferred method? No. Did it cover the issue? Sort of. Can you see the issue? Yes. Would the person who's getting this card notice it? Probably not, unless they watch the video. So all I have to do now is to put it on a card base. So we're going to double stick this just to make sure that it stays put. Throw on some tape runner. I'll grab my Barely Arts glue and I will go around the edges with a bead of glue. That way it doesn't get any lift in the corners, and once I'm satisfied with the amount of squiggly glue lines that I've put all over this card panel, we can put it on our card base. So I'll go ahead and line everybody up, and once I'm happy with that, I'll give that a good mash down, and here you have my finished card. I really hope you liked today's project, and as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.